Hi guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Penny.
And we are the Oyster Boys, and today we are reviewing a homebrew, which is Penny's Lemon Ale.
Yes, it's something that I've written myself. It's the first one we've truly written with no sort of inspiration, would you say, from recipe books or anything like that. It's sort of something that I've, written myself, so to speak. I had in my mind to trial and make this beer to then tinker and have it ready for the summer to be sitting outside in the nice hot weather with a sort of nice cloudy-ish pale ale. I guess in my mind I had sort of the Shipyard ale. You have the Shipyard?
I've not had it personally, no.
Oh, okay. So the Shipyard ale with a slightly less bitterness, and the hops I used was to more the Sorachi Ace and the
Motueka, is it? Motueka?
Yes, the Motueka and Sorachi Ace to sort of bring that lemon citrusy flavour towards the end. Maybe to sort of influence it on the Radler, obviously without having that lemon directly, to give that sort of flavour. Not too strong. My aim was to get it about 4.8%, have a good mouthfeel, and low bitterness. So it's not a New England IPA. It's not a West Coast, but I would definitely say it would be classed as an American pale ale. I definitely wouldn't just call it as like the UK IPA. It's definitely got too many hops going on for that. I mean, how do you feel? You've read the recipe. You helped me with the hop additions.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the recipe. I'm looking forward to seeing how it smells and how it tastes. This is, I mean, you've been drinking this for a while now. This is my first try, isn't it?
So I've had it on draft. I've had issues with bottling, as we've spoke that I had an issue with my original capper, and you let me a capper, and we've had some that turned out flat.
Well, we'll see how this goes.
I had one that turned out and it was about as fizzy as an ale, which isn't bad. I gave one to my dad and went, that's as flat as a hedgehog on a bad day in the middle of the road. But we've had it on draft now. My partner Charlotte, who hates hoppy beers, had this and went, this is great, and she actually preferred it to the Uptown beer we did now. I'm not no way saying I'm any way as good as these guys, but saying that style, she really liked it. And it was definitely a different colour on draft and a different sort of beer. But
I mean, shall we get it in the glass and see how it looks and see where we go from there?
Yeah. So I opened this last time, there was no fizz at all, so I don't know what this is. I heard a little fizz with you.
I got the tiniest fizz.
I've got one.
Tiniest fizz.
So it's carbonated, at least. At least it's not going to be flat as a fart.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's fizzy, although I'm getting some head. But I would say the colour of this is causing me some issues straight away.
Okay.
It's very dark.
It's
for the kind of beer that we think it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for more of that straw colour. What's it called? That you see on the DIPAs or your New England IPAs, which is okay. It has got that sort of dishwashery.
It's that kind of grey IPA, isn't it? Yes. It's the grey IPA tinge.
It's a sign of oxidation. When did I make this? So I made this. It's about 6 weeks ago. So I think most home brewers would have drank it all by now, or aim to and give it out. I mean,
the thing is, with this kind of style of beer, where you're sort of like heavily hopping, dry hopping, and then put it in the bottle, this kind of beer is more aimed towards people that are going to keg the whole thing.
Yeah. So, well, should we put the recipe up and then the guys can have a look?
Yeah, I'll put the recipe on the screen here.
So we put 25 grams of Sorachi Ace in at the boil, and then Motueka at 20 minutes, and then at the hot stand we did 65 grams of Motueka, and then after 2 days we did 50 gram dry hop of Motueka and 65 grams of Sorachi. Now this is the Voss Kveik
Voss Kveik
yeast. Now I pitched the yeast on a Tuesday and I was cold pressing on a Friday. It went mental, and it was 35 degrees.
Well, that's the thing, because with the Kvake, they say, the ideal operating temperature for the Kvake yeast is 30 to 40 degrees C.
Well,
so
that's
hot. That's hot for most yeast. It's like you're cooking a beer, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's the room is probably 9 foot by 4 foot.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and the room, it smelled of potpourri, like hoppy potpourri. What's that hoppy? That's what hoppy can mean anything. It was getting that like pepperiness, almost like a saison smell.
Yeah,
and I was thinking, is this going to affect the beer? It didn't. It didn't affect the flavour. It was the yeast had little aroma. It didn't affect the beer that much. I didn't think, but the smell it was giving off. It was going crazy. Like the whole room stunk. It was beautiful. You go in there, you're like, wow, it's like someone was had like some sort of, I don't know.
Incense going on in the corner.
Like a fruity incense going on. Like a perfumey smell. It wasn't a fruity like you get from an IPA, a New England IPA, like a perfumey smell.
And your partner probably hated it though, I would guess.
She rarely goes in that room. It's my little secret room. So I mean, like I say, 5 days from pitching to cold crashing was something else. The first time we used these, so the first time we used a lot of those hops. So
being honest though, commenting on the looks.
It's brown, isn't it?
It's brown. This is not a nice looking beer, mate. This is.
No. Hey. We can't give ourselves better marks just because we made it.
No, you can't win them all, can you? I mean, I'd probably give this like a two.
Oh
out of
God,
10.
I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking 4. 4. I'm not that harsh on myself.
Let's dive in with our noses and see how it smells.
I mean, it smells great to me.
It does smell good, actually. You can definitely get that kind of citrusy type smell.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that it's like as strong as some of the New Englands where the things like this far away from me and I can smell it from here. But it smells.
But if it's been oxidised like we think it has, then
that would go.
It's going to kill a lot of the smell. But when you really get your nose over it, I get sweetness. I do get it's like the citrus of the limes and the lemons. Maybe a bit of peach as well. I'm not getting like
it's very faint though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not getting the pineapple sort of things, but definitely, which I was, I was aiming more towards the citrus side. I mean, there's no orange there or anything like that. It's literally just maybe it's a sweetness, slight bit, maybe apricot instead of peach actually.
I think because we'd focused on the hops being Sriracha Ace and Motueka, you're going to get more of those sort of lemony citrus smells.
And that's what we were going for, yeah. Yeah,
but I kind of just wish that smell was stronger.
Okay,
really, yeah. And I think maybe if I'm assuming we'll try this beer again. We're going to get this beer right ultimately.
Yes, yeah. It was the first one. No one made a beer and turn around. Yeah, that's brilliant. To market. Do you know what I mean?
I'd maybe even double the amount of hops that we're putting in the dry hop.
Yeah, I mean, it's called craft for a reason, isn't it? It's because it's it's tinkered and it's played with and it's crafted. Do you know what I mean? So, and this is the first go. It's completely out the blue of what we picked the malt bill that we liked, the sound of, and we picked the hops that we liked. So,
I would say it definitely smells better than it looks.
Yes,
and I'd probably give it probably a 5.9.
Okay, I was going to more like 6.7 because it does smell good. I know I have to get my nose over it, but there's beers that we've give marks of 7 to that that we've had to do the same to get your nose over. So
I'll tell you what, then I'll treat it and I'll give it a 6.4.
Because if you were blindfolded and you didn't know what beer this was and it was put in your nose, the style, you'd say it was a good smelling beer.
That's true, yeah. Should we give it a taste?
Yes, come on. So I know what it tastes like on draft. I had 4 pints yesterday, so.
Cheers.
Cheers. So this is definitely more bitter. A lot more bitter than on draft.
It's definitely you can taste that it's oxidised.
Yes.
Straight away you can.
Yeah.
And I would say, I mean, it's a shame though because I can really taste the lemon in the hops.
Yes, you can sort of.
And what you said you wanted to achieve, which is basically having a Radler without having to add lemonade.
Yes.
I think that that's there. I think that you can really taste that. But it's a shame that the oxidation's coming in there because you kind of get that almost like a wet cardboard type.
Yes, it almost it makes you
like
sad.
I said before stale as a flavour. I think this.
I think yes.
Yeah, stale would be a word that I'd use for this. But I mean,
I think if someone followed this recipe, they could make this great if they saw it because it's not necessarily the recipe that's wrong. It's maybe the way that I've bottled it and conditioned it. Maybe. I mean, I was very drunk over Christmas, and you even give me some tips, didn't you, about kegging it? Even a kegged, probably not the best way. The potential's there, isn't it?
I think definitely in the flavour the potential is there. The aroma I think will come through a lot better when it's not oxidised, but I think when we do a version 2 of this, to be able to do a still frame of this beer side by side with the next beer and see how they look different, it'll be worlds apart. It really will be worlds apart.
Oh yes, yes. And that's really a testament obviously to homebrewers and it's not just about how you ferment the beer or your grain bill or the yeast you use and you're dropping it. It's further than that. It's obviously how you you keg the beer or bottle the beer, store it. It's not just about the product, you know what I mean? So what would you give this for your flavour, judging on this beer?
I mean, the funny thing is, although this beer hasn't turned out how we would want or probably expect it to turn out, it's still nicer than a lot of other beers that we've tried.
It's steering towards more the West Coast now with that bitterness, but it's still bags of flavour.
Oh yeah, I mean
the mouthfeel's a bit off because it's not quite as carbonated. I would like it, whether that's because I didn't cap it right or the what's it called, the priming wasn't right, but maybe we tried it with a different yeast. I don't know. I think it was more the fact that I just really wanted to try this yeast style.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. But if I was doing this again, I would probably add less hops at 60 minutes to make it a bit less bitter.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe a different yeast so it was more reliable.
We did
for the bottling stage.
Obviously, you did tell me to at flame out to cool it down.
Drop it down to about 80 degrees.
Whereas when you text me, I'd left to walk the dog and come back at after 45, 50 minutes, and it was still at 90 degrees. So it was almost like I boiled that second edition or third edition of the hop. So I would definitely cool that down. So to a point as well for that second edition.
But I mean, flavour-wise, taking all of that out of it, forgetting it's a beer that you or I have made, how would I rate this on flavour? I mean, it's probably, I would say, maybe a 6-9 on flavour. I think it's, like I say, it still tastes pretty good. It's still tasty. Still tasty. It's just not the tastiest.
Yes, and it's bitter. It's bitter for me, which I was sort of trying to pull back on. I mean, if you look at the actual original bitter in hops, at the start was only 25 grams. I don't know what the alpha A was on that. I think it was maybe 9%, something like that. So I would give it 6.5.
Yeah. Okay. And price? If you could tell me the price on this one.
Yeah, it worked out at 70p per pint. So all in all, it's about £30. So
it's 25 litres, is that?
25 litres, yes. For me, it's on par with other home brews. The Quebec yeast wasn't particularly expensive. Again, the most expensive part of this was the hops. And we used a lot of hops, so I would say ballpark for me, 7.7, really. Because obviously I've got to compare this with your commercial lagers you buy from the shops. 7.7.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think probably like a 7.4, 7.5. I think once we've got it nailed and it actually, looks fantastic, it could definitely go into the 8s or maybe even the 9s. But for now, I'll probably say 7.4, 7.5, 7.4. Let's go for that.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think to the sessionability for this beer?
Oh, and this is difficult because I had 4 pints of this on draft yesterday, and that I still could have had more. But with the bottle version, it's definitely different. Definitely. Because it's mine, I'd have 4 bottles. Because it's mine.
Yeah. I mean, so how would you say that this differs to the draft version that you've got?
Okay, so it's more bitter, 100%. Yep. 100% more bitter. The draft one is lighter coloured as well. There's no doubt about that. It definitely doesn't have that dark grey tinge to it. It's definitely more a bit glowing, should I say. Head is pretty much similar, but the hops come through more. It's more. It has more pineness than bitterness, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean there. Yeah.
Yes. And it's you can where this you would taste the oil. They put a lot at the start of the boil, whereas on the draft you would say it's definitely dry hopped, like I say. So that's where I would say it differs.
For me, I'd probably have 3 of these at the most. It's not, like I say, it's not a bad beer. It could be better. It's not bad. But after 3, I'd be thinking, my mouth's a bit dry now.
But I'll tell you what though, if I give that to anyone else and put that in a commercial tin and they had that, they would say that's good beer, because they would never guess it was homebrew. Put it that way. We did some sort of triangle test and we did some sort of homebrew-esque what they would expect. They would not expect that.
No, definitely, I agree. And I think that pretty much brings us to a close on this one.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying to make this again and package it a bit.
What's the Oyster Score? Should we calculate the Oyster Score? Because Winston's not here to give it.
Oh, hang on, let me count it up.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Right, so here is the Oyster Score for this beer. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today. If you did, click the links down below. I might even put a link in for people to buy this recipe kit if they wanted to.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd be mega interested in who buys it. I'd love for someone to give their opinion on it as well. I mean, it's what we're hoping to have this right, maybe autumn time. So there's plenty of time to people to give it a go and give us their suggestions of what to tinker with.
Yeah, and if they do make it and try it, please leave a comment down below in how they thought it was. But for now, I think that's it. So, Oysters out.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.